We are back. I am John P. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you really two things. The first thing is going to be what I see happening in the watch market right now. The second thing I'm going to be sharing is why there is such a disparity between watch prices on different platforms, different places that you can buy watches. Why are the prices so different? Because at Del Rey Watch, I'm asked this question all of the time, both on the buying and the selling end. I predominantly don't handle sales, but sometimes I do jump in on the phones just so that I can keep my ear to the ground and talk with fellow collectors out there. So you never know, if you do call Del Rey Watch, just maybe I will be answering the phone one day. But nonetheless, I'm hearing things out there, chatter among customers and collectors on, hey, why is the prices so different? Why is Del Rey Watch so much lower than some of the other big box stores, as well as on the other end, selling the watch? Why is the process a little bit different depending on whether or not it's a platform, marketplace, Chrono24, private seller, flipper, things like that? So I'm going to cover that in the second section of this video because I think that you can use some of these considerations to receive the best price on a watch, either you're buying or selling, regardless if it's with us or anywhere out there, because at the end of the day, if you don't want the watch, does it really matter if they're offering the best prices on all watches because they don't have the watch that you want? So that's at least the way that I look at it as also as a collector. So the first part I want, before I do that, on the wrist today, I have a very cool white gold with the hobnail bezel, Patek Philippe Calatrava. You can see more about this on my Instagram, The Real John P. So what's going on in the watch market? What I see happening right now is that there's a considerable amount of people getting back into buying watches. The demand is starting to pick up. Now, I've noticed that it's not on all watches. It's certainly Rolex has seen a considerable pullback from where it was at its highs. We don't need to cover that and kind of go through that whole conversation. Again, we know Rolex prices are down seriously. And interestingly enough, when customers have been reaching out to us on Rolex watches, a lot of them have been tire kickers or very low offers. It's kind of interesting. Some of the emails that we get, I just don't believe it, right? Like you can be offering like the cheapest GMT Master Pepsi ceramic bezel out there on the market, and someone offers half price. And we've been getting a lot more of those people. So, be realistic here. The watches haven't, they're not selling for a 20th of the price of where they maybe once were, but sometimes people throw that out there. That seems to have picked up. So Rolex, that is still probably going to come down a little bit because that's what we're seeing at Del Rey Watch, and we work with a lot of collectors, and the casual buyers have really kind of taken themselves out of the market for the time being, I believe, because of a lot of the turbulence in the equities markets. Think of it this way, right? Someone has a retirement account, and the retirement account has seen considerable pullback, truly a degradation of the value of the retirement account. Buying a luxury watch as a casual person, not an enthusiast, just isn't going to be a priority because, hey, they look at that, wow, maybe I'll shift my interest and focus elsewhere for the time being until, things recover. But on the more enthusiast side of things, I'm seeing such a surge recently of people snapping up phenomenal deals on watches. We're seeing people picking up Vacheron watches. This is a brand I talk about all the time recently, as a lot of dealers internationally have been dumping the watches to get out of them because maybe they thought they overpaid, or they want to make sure that they aren't overpaid, so they get out of it sooner than later. So even recently, we had a phenomenal deal on a Vacheron overseas that lasted, I think, about a day, maybe 2 days on our website. And so truly, and then after that was sold, a lot more people were reaching out too. So it's kind of interesting that these more enthusiast-focused brands are quite literally flying off the shelf. We had a few Zinn watches that sold immediately, some Nomos watches. These watches that really enthusiasts have really come to know, love, and enjoy, and want to have in their collection for other reasons than just, hey, this is a cool watch and people are going to recognize it, or maybe this is an investment kind of a thing. No, these people want to wear the watches, they're hobbyists, they're enthusiasts, and I'm very happy to see, the enthusiasts, myself included, go strong and still continue the hobby and passion, even though it might not be kind of the hottest thing that everyone wants to talk about. Oh, buy a Rolex watch. It's going to double in price in 6 months. Buy a Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711. It's going to be discontinued. It's going to quadruple in price. No, these are enthusiasts, and I'm very excited and glad to see this because, additionally, it will allow us as enthusiasts to get the watches that we want without having to compete on price with people that are just going to throw it in the back of the safe, and maybe they'll look at it, maybe they won't. Who knows, right? And that's what's awesome. So I think more people will be able to add the watches to their collection that they want. Now, long-winded, really a long-winded form of insight here that I'm sharing with you, but I do see this happening. Now, connected to this, the second thing that I wanted to touch on is the different places that watches can be bought and sold currently and why there's such a difference in pricing. We will have people reach out to us, collectors, and sometimes long-time viewers of the channels or collectors or shoppers with Del Rey watch, and they'll ask for a sale price on their Rolex watch, namely, but sometimes Patek or some of the other hot ones out there, previously very hot watches, and they will want a number that maybe they saw on a big box store, or they want a number that they saw on Chrono24 or one of the other marketplaces. And something to keep in mind is when we're kind of looking at really what I consider to be like a hierarchy of watch sellers or watch traders, from the top to bottom, usually the most expensive to the most approachable or really the cheapest pricing, if all things are the same. The same watch, let's say it's a Daytona, the box, papers, the condition, everything is the same. The marketplaces are going to have the highest sale price or the listed price because these are dealers competing with other people in the marketplace. They have markups, they have fees that have to be paid. Now, working the way down, you also have the big box shops, and the big box shops, think companies that have thousands and thousands of watches in stock, international companies with physical locations, brick and mortar, some of them employees, hundreds of employees. Well, that's why they're the next most expensive, because you're paying for all that, right? You're paying for them to have a full movie studio. You're paying for them to have the 20 locations across the world. You're paying for them to take losses on things instead of actually fight chargebacks and things like that. That's what gets baked into each individual watch sale. So, if you're comfortable, because you like that thing, then that makes a lot of sense. That could really work out for you. Or maybe it's a certain watch, that's the only place you can find it. But on the flip side, they do have to pay lower than anyone else. And so even as a collector before Del Rey watch, I always tried to find someone as close to private party as possible, because you're cutting out all those additional layers. Now, private party selling a watch is going to get you the highest price and also probably the best price to purchase the watch should you be out there in the market looking to buy the watch. Though something to consider is this should be the case, though there are some people that will look at the highest price on the market as an individual seller, just a collector. Hey, I want to sell my watch on the forum or something like that, or one of the other places, Instagram, and they'll look at the highest price out there and they'll say, yeah, I want to get $40,000 for this particular Daytona because this one dealer on Chrono24 has it listed at this highest price. Well, the reality is, without the branding, without the team, and really focusing on it as a private seller, that's just not going to happen, right? If you could pay the same price from someone that has all those additional perks, features, and capabilities, and more people have their eyes on those watches, why would someone buy it from this totally unknown source compared to the big box shop if the price was there? So when looking at the hierarchy, I think that's really important to consider, because right now there's not only the differences in the pricing between all the types of buyers, sellers, and marketplaces, we also have a lot of arbitrage as well. You have people that will buy a watch or say they're going to buy a watch from a flipper and then try to sell it to an authorized dealer, or someone that will list something on a marketplace that maybe is posted very low from a private seller or a mid-market seller, much like Del Rey watch, where we do our very best to limit our overhead. Of course, we have an office and a team and a photographer and things like that, truly the essentials that you have to have along with a watchmaker. But in terms of just like careless spending and these wild holiday parties, or LCD boards where people can kind of this kind of like show show and tell facade kind of a thing. That's not really what we do because we like to deliver the best price. And I think now is a time that more than ever, pricing really comes down to it because of the way that the watch market is changing every day. Now more than ever, the watch prices just need to be competitive, not on only the selling side, but the buying side. And that's something that we've really focused on and we really take pride in. So considering all of this, if I would say that, if you wanted to get the best price selling your watch, try to sell it on your own. That can be difficult. But if you wanted to get the best price, try selling on your own, which can be difficult. If not, mid-market really does work out pretty well. But at the end of the day, the choice really is yours. And when we're looking at watches like the Rolexes and things, hey, who knows? Put in an offer with any of the dealers of your choice, and maybe they'll take it just because they have to move inventory. But I think as time goes on here, as potentially the stock market recovers and things like that, we are going to see the watch market come back. And that is something that I am very excited for, not only as a watch dealer, but also as an enthusiast, where, as you can see, I wear watches, I love them, and I enjoy them. And I'm certainly not against getting a great deal for a watch that goes in my personal collection. So what do you guys think about the watch market? Do you have any kind of comments on maybe things that I've said, or any responses, or maybe you've had an interesting, maybe you've had a very low offer get accepted on a piece of inventory somewhere on a watch that you wanted? I would actually love to see it and hear it in the comments below. I always love seeing and hearing about people's buying and selling, experiences with watches, because at the end of the day, that is a major part of how I spend my life. Guys, let me know, comments below. Please do not forget to thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I do appreciate it. You can find me on Instagram, The Real John P, and TikTok, The Real John P. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. You've been chatting with John P.